While most CPAs focus on what happened last year, our friend Dan Mullen at GTG Tax Planning helps you plan for what's next. He's especially sharp with business owners and real estate investors, helping you legally minimize taxes while positioning yourself to look strong when it comes time to qualifying for financing. And because he understands both tax strategy and lending, he helps you make smarter financial decisions before they become expensive ones. Discover how you can look poor to the IRS and rich to the lender. Book a short discovery call today at gtgtax.com. That's gtgtax.com.
Here's what's next on the Nice Guys on Business.
The whole idea of being an entrepreneur to me was following the direction of not knowing, following the direction of uncomfortableness, and I'm not talking about the uncomfortable way I just invested $1 million, my house is there, and I'm going to foreclosure. That's just stupid. You invest money, of course you do, and I'm doing that right now in the space that I'm in right now for the movie production stuff that I'm doing. But I didn't even know I was going to be doing movies. I didn't even know any of this existed.
Right.
So opening that door led to, again, and I use this term all the time. Doug's corrupted me with many things, but the damn term opportunity.
Yeah.
Opportunity, to say opportunity knocks. It doesn't knock. It just sits there waiting for you to notice it.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that the nice guys didn't exist. Go from where you are now to where you could be. Get expert tips to grow your business, to be more productive and more efficient, whether you're trying to build influence, grow your community, or make it rain. Best-selling author of Nice Guys Finish First, Doug Sandler, can lead the way. The Nice Guys on Business is produced by Turnkey Podcast Productions. Now, here's your host, Doug Sandler.
Welcome back, Nice Guy community. As an entrepreneur, the bumps can come fast and furious, and welcome back to the Nice Guys on Business. Today's guest can somehow manage to combine engineering, an MBA, mindfulness, music, sound, light, and leadership into one career. Somewhere along the way, he apparently decided that spreadsheets alone weren't going to save humanity. So Phillip Bogolub, he is the creator of Ajanoi, mindfully immersive communication system. A mouthful to say, but an even bigger experience to explore. His work helps leaders. My mom writes the best intros, doesn't she? His work helps leaders communicate more effectively, think more creatively, and maybe even find answers without asking Google first. Phillip, excited to have you back, my friend. Welcome to the Nice Guys on Business podcast.
I got nothing to say after that introduction. It's all done. It was nice being here. Great show. Have a good day. I'm out of here.
What now? Is this your second time on the show, or is this your first time? And I'm just imagining that you were on the show before. Maybe you were on another podcast that I have. No, you don't know. You're not sure.
No. When you invited me for the whole thing from when I was doing my podcast, that's when we did that.
Got it. Okay,
I don't think I've ever been on the show.
Oh. Okay, well, we're correcting that today. Don't get all hostile. Don't get all hostile on me. You're the one that's supposed to bring light and love to the fucking planet. You know what's going on, man?
That's fine. Screw off. Anyway,
So, in all transparency, Nice Guy community, Phillip and his wife came to visit us in Ojai, California. Got to spend some time here visiting the town. Breaking bread with my brethren here of another tribe member. There you go. Now you're not officially Jewish, are you, or are you Jewish? Your wife is
Jewish. Oh no, that's another one. No, I am officially Jewish.
Okay, are you Jewish as in you were bar mitzvah Jewish?
Oh yeah, bar mitzvah Jewish.
Okay, but your wife wasn't bat mitzvah, was she?
No, because in those days, a lot of women didn't get bat mitzvah.
Got it. Okay, let's start there. Let's start with the differences between men and women, the birds and the bees. Shall we start on that part of the conversation?
There's the birds and the bees? I don't understand that. Don't they just sting each other?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, if that's what you call stinging nowadays, it's that's good. So Phillip, you have seen the full cycle of career changes. As an engineer, engineers like to know everything right up front. They don't want to get involved in something until they know what the answer is going to be, because everything in engineering is math, and math is very predictable. An entrepreneur, which you are now, is completely the opposite of that. how have you adjusted? What has your medication gone up completely since like how do you adjust to that? I mean, speak to those in our audience that might not be entrepreneurs, but are in the engineering space, let's say, and are trying to make the transition to doing their own thing.
When I was young, my dad gave me 1 year, said, get a job. I wanted to create some bands, go to school or get out.
Right.
So that was my introduction. And I was in a few bands. I wrote some music. Wasn't very successful with it because most of them they were getting stoned and drunk, and I was serious. And it just didn't pan out. My mom said, you know what, you got the talent, but maybe you should go get a piece of paper. So I I always wanted to go back to the music. And about 11 years ago, when the company, I was an engineer at a medical company for about 27 years, and I could see the writing on the wall. And my wife said, you know, why don't you go after your dream? I said, can we do that? Kids are grown, blah, blah, blah. You know, you had a plan. You talked about this. And you know, for the audience to understand that Doug's been very influential, as in he's become a good friend too. But it's at the beginning, because I did a podcast show with him through his company for a couple of years. And just doing the show alone, I learned so much. And Doug's been a very positive influence. You know, everybody in your life, you're talking about how this happens. You got to surround yourself with the people that are for you.
Agreed.
And when it gets down, I mean, when I felt, you know, I'm not sure if the podcast show is going, and Doug would go, come on, man, you can do it. You can do it, man. It's going to be great. You got to have, you know, how did I do it is you got to have people in your corner, because out in the world, people are not necessarily in your corner. Yeah. And they'll knock you down. So when you go back home, you want somebody going, good going, you can do it, you can do it. And that's one thing that Doug, among many other things, has been very powerful on. He encourages his clients, because I was a client, but I always never saw it as
I didn't see it that way. I didn't see it that way. I don't see, you know, it's interesting. I never see my clients as clients. I always see I meet my clients where they're at. Some clients want to be clients. They want to pay me for a service, and they want me to produce their show, and that's it. And then some clients come and it's just the opposite. It's, hey, let's explore this friendship. And in the friendship, if there could be something that could be beneficial for both of us, not just, we don't get into it for that reason, but if there's something that could benefit us both, looking at that word, and, you know, I always talk about the word opportunity, looking at the word opportunity, where can you find opportunity in the friendship? And I think that we both really explored that. And I think that I got as much out of the relationship as, I mean, I appreciate those nice words and those accolades, but I feel like I got as much I got a friend out of it. You know, I got somebody that nobody understands the thwarted sense of humor that I have the way that you do, Phillip. So, because you have the same sense of humor, it's like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? So you started this podcast. You found some opportunity in there. You decided, instead of the podcast, you were going to take a deeper dive into exploring all of the stuff in the entrepreneurial space that you were going to. So I'd love you to talk for just a second, if you could, about, because Ajanoi, nobody knows what that word is. Is it a made-up word? Is it a word that actually literally exists in the world and we just don't know it? So tell everybody what that is, and how your life kind of fits the pattern that Ajanoi fits as well.
So Ajanoi is not a real word, and it is trademarked. And it's Ajanoi, Aja being your soul, Noi being your knowledge. And I teach people their soul knowledge to understand their knowledge of their soul, their purpose on planet Earth. And I'm just an empty tube, and I'm very spiritual, and Doug already knows that, but the audience doesn't. And I'm very much into faith, and believe in something bigger than me. You can call it whatever you want. I call it God, but you can call it potato salad. It really doesn't matter.
Right.
And the coincidences, serendipity, and accidents, with Doug has heard this a million times, just led me to the place where I'm at now. And anything that's worthwhile doing is worth losing some sleep over. Being uncomfortable. Right. When I'm comfortable being uncomfortable in something I'm familiar with, that's the same old thing that I'm doing. But I apply Ajanoi as a blank slate, an empty picture. There's nothing, just a white piece of paper with nothing drawn on there. Right. And through my prayer meditations, through the processes that I do, and the people in it all, and again, that includes Doug. And I'm doing this for no reason other than saying this nice about Doug, because it's true. It's not like I'm getting, you know, I'm getting anything for it. Well, you're just sending me a good candy bar, but that's another story. But no, it's true, because You don't meet.
Right.
You got to be in the right frequency with people.
Agreed.
But the whole idea of being an entrepreneur to me was following the direction of not knowing, following the direction of uncomfortableness, and I'm not talking about the uncomfortable. I just invested $1 million. My house is there and I'm going to foreclosure. That's just stupid. You invest money. Of course you do. And I'm doing that right now in the space that I'm in right now for the movie production stuff that I'm doing. But I didn't even know I was going to be doing movies. I didn't even know any of this existed.
Right.
So opening that door led to, again, and I use this term all the time. Doug's corrupted me with many things, but the damn term opportunity.
Yeah.
Opportunity, to say opportunity knocks. It doesn't knock. It just sits there waiting for you to notice it.
It kind of it's like a cat brushes up against the door, hopefully that you hear, so that when you do open the door, it will pounce at you and make your way. Before you get deep into the story of the creation of Ajanoi, though, I want to understand something, because your brain as an engineer works 180 degrees away from how your brain as an entrepreneur works. So how did you adjust your thinking? Safe, predictable, comfortable are oftentimes those words that you might hear as an engineer. Even though you have challenges, the challenges don't ever say, well, if you don't fulfill this challenge, you're not going to make your paycheck. So how do you deal with that as an entrepreneur in that space as an engineer brain?
When I was hired in the job that I was previously at, they didn't have a technical support engineer. And I really didn't know anything about X-ray tubes. I knew what it did, but I really didn't know anything about it.
Right.
And there's a reason why I'm telling you this is because the position didn't exist. So I created something out of nothing. And I didn't know I was doing that. It just came naturally because I've been in the service business my whole life. So going into there is no safe place to be an entrepreneur with something, because every time you break the glass ceiling, there's another one above it. And every time you break this, so it never stops. And
right.
I think I got to the point where I'm excited being uncomfortable. I'm actually interested in uncomfortable, because if I'm comfortable, I'm bored and I'm not growing. And what's life about? I mean, less than a year. I'm just turned 64. So less than a year, I'll be asking every place, and drive my wife crazy. Do you have a senior discount? Do you have a senior discount?
I've been asking that since I was 50.
So have I. That's another thing. I did that with movie tickets.
I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. As soon as McDonald's had senior coffee at 50 or whatever the age was, I'm like, I'm going to McDonald's. They have good coffee. I like it there.
Oh, absolutely. But I got less time forward than I do behind me. And I'm not looking at it in a depressing sense. I'm looking at I've got a lot of life experience. Now, I've been telling people that I just had a private training session for Ajanoi for a meditation class. And I said, I'm having my thumb and my forefinger real close to each other. This is how much I know in life. I know most of the stuff in life I don't know anything about. Right. I might know a little bit about it. I've heard of it before, but I'm not an expert. And those who claim to be the wise men are sure the fool. So I'm never going to learn everything.
Hold on, maybe that'll be the title. Those that claim to be say that again.
Those who claim to be the wise man are sure the fool.
I love that. Okay.
Because no one knows everything. It's impossible. We've all known people that they're like the know-it-all of everything. And I'm like, I don't want to be. I want to say, when I signed up to the podcast with Doug, I told him all the time, he said, are you willing to open up to be trained? I'm like, of course I am.
Right.
And you have to admit you don't know.
Yeah.
And in what I'm doing now, the Ajanoi philosophy of the four worlds, discovery, awakening, transformation, discovery, awakening, transformation, transcendent, mystical mind. I have a whole thing called massless momentum coming from the stars. I've got spirits and angels. I got process and procedures. I got all this stuff. And I break everything down into my body is an idiot box. My body does nothing. The mind exists out of the brain. It doesn't exist in the brain. And then I have my intuitive self adjusting. There's all these different things. And I get down to, these decisions are made fast because we don't notice them.
Yeah.
But I get down to the nth degree. Now, can that drive somebody kind of bonkers? Yeah. But for me, it's enlightening. I woke up early this morning and I'm like, I've got to be able to do it this way. I don't want to, I read a lot, and I don't want to fall into the fallacy that this is the way it is because somebody said it was that way.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's why I want to follow the direction of Ajanoi, your soul knowledge, the knowledge of your soul, understanding your purpose on planet Earth, because everybody on this planet has got one. Everybody.
Do you feel like you have been here before? Not here as in the show, but here as in on this earth before?
I love that question. So we come from our past,
right.
Our grandfathers, our great-grandfathers, we be thousands of years.
Right.
So yes, and you in your lineage, and sometimes souls have come into that too from outside of you. But in general, you not just look the way you do, but you act the way you do because of what your parents did, your parents' parents, and all that stuff. So have we really been there before? Yeah, you're just picking up where somebody left off. And I'll extend that even more. So I don't want to leave what I want to advance as much as I can on this frequency for the next soul, the next Aja that's going to get whatever I didn't finish and I have to complete to get at least in a higher level, so they can at least maybe go to even a higher level and a higher level. So no, I have not really been here before. I feel the people, you know, like when you have pictures and images, like your dad or a friend, somebody who's gone, they're there with you, and they pop up at the most weirdest times. They're there with you. They could be smiling. They could be doing anything. Sometimes they're not saying a damn thing. But if we knew all the spirits and angels and the souls that were around us all the time, we'd never be scared of anything. So yes, absolutely. We've been here before, not on the show, but we've been here before, but not been here before.
I got it. So because your schooling contradicts your wisdom. Yeah, and I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm saying that in a way that says it doesn't appear to me that you were put on this earth to be an engineer. It appears to me that you were put on the. It sounds like your environmental conditions, your parents, and I'm sure that your parents are wonderful, but your parents were the reason why you had to get that degree and that certification. Because I could see you just roaming the earth, spreading the. You know, I saw a couple of days ago we went to a neighbor's house, and I live in Ojai, which is like hippie town, USA. And
what a cool place!
A very cool place. Our friends invited us to their home, which is about 10 minutes from our house, and they live on a piece of property, and they basically had 3 or 4 musicians that were coming just to play music at their house. And, you know, the one guy's like, hey, I just want to let you know, I don't live anywhere. You know, it's like, so the guy is basically, he's not saying he's homeless because he just is tours forever. So it didn't make him sense to put his hat anywhere.
Right.
And you know, the guy's playing really soulful music. He's no shoes, you know, basically smoking cigarettes and
he loves his life.
And loves his life. And I keep thinking, how is this guy, where is his stability coming from? And maybe it's just in his headspace that he has the stability through the writing of a good, you know, singer-songwriter type of song. I don't know. But it seems to me that you're more aligned with that type of soul than a soul that worked for the X-ray tube company for 30 years and has a pension coming in from there. So, like, how does that happen? Tell me maybe the journey a little bit of how that happened and how you didn't because it seems like you would have resisted that somewhere along the way.
I had so many blessings in my professional life and my personal life, but more of my professional life because that's what most of the time we're doing, right?
Right.
Being an engineer, working on medical equipment, traveling the United States, working with another company at first, and then getting to where I'm at. All these things were because of my personality, because of who I am, and because I learned when to the old Yiddish statement called "Vermach the Moil," shut your mouth.
Yeah, people love you. I mean, they do. I mean, you are not necessarily, and again, no attack on you at all. You may not have been the smartest engineer in the world, but you were the one that everybody wanted because you got the problem solved, because you took time to listen to people. You were friendly. They wanted to. You probably had just as much fun having lunch with the companies that you went out to than you did fixing the equipment. Tell me about that.
They used to joke with me when I went to the medical shows and say, "Who's that guy over there?" I said, "That's Phil in a box." like fill in a box. He goes in a box and follows the tube. See, he's skinny. He can go that way. It was always the idea. The engineering part, nobody cared about.
Right.
It was the idea when you got there, I had to solve a problem behind the scenes.
Right.
So when it got repaired and I'd stay up all night or I'd be there for a few days, we'd go get a cup of coffee. It was just who I was. So I really wasn't an engineer. In all honesty, I was never the best student in the world in school.
Right.
It always was hard for me. I always had to study. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. I'll tell you, physics was one of the hardest classes because they go, do you see this formula? And do you see how the formula, and we're doing the science part and we're doing the lab thing. Do you see how that part of the formula going, it's the same? I'm like, no, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. But I had to do the physical stuff. I was offered jobs to do like CAD and all that. And I'm like, not dealing with people.
Right.
So this whole thing started from the idea, because that's the way I was also raised. A people person. My dad was a people person. My mom was a people. My grandmother, my sister, my brother, everybody was that way. And my dad always wanted us to be out there, being able to communicate. So worst case, you can get a sales job.
Right.
But we were always there. So to get to where I am now, I had no other choice but to go through that. I had to go through my ups and downs. Most of my career, I absolutely loved it. And when I got that last job before I left it, for 27 years, I loved it. I traveled all over the world. And it wasn't, to your point, it wasn't an engineer.
Right.
I was learning how to communicate better. I was learning how to be more comfortable in my own skin. And then the philosophy started coming up. What am I doing here? Why is this path open to me? And why do I keep, and then I kept enjoying it even more.
Huh.
So it got stronger and stronger to the point where it was time to move on.
All right. So how important, talk to our entrepreneur community, how important is the gift versus, I don't want to say the gab because the gab makes it sound a little bit negative, but how important is the communication in growing a business as opposed to the gift that you came with? I always feel like, man, my gift is X. And if my gift is X, it comes easy to me. It doesn't come easy to the rest of the world. The shit that comes hard to me, though, is hey, we have to train a staff and we have to put systems in place and we have to do payroll and we have to do accounting and we got to do our taxes at the end of the year. And we've got to have, all of these processes in place, this stuff I don't like. And I think that's where most people fail at business. I don't feel like they fail at their gift. Their gift comes easy. It's the marketing of the gift. This, it's the marketing. It's trying to open up to find opportunity that's out there. So talk to our community for a moment from your perspective, communication versus the gift of whatever it is that you became an entrepreneur to do.
Communications. 99.9% of it. And the other, 1/10 of it is the actual gift, because if you can't communicate, and I'm not saying you have to be like me or like Doug or like whoever, you don't have to be this phenomenal communicator. Sometimes you have to work at it, and that's fine. Yeah. Sometimes the gift is this way, but you can't communicate, or vice versa. But that communication skill you can learn it. I've always had it, but I've learned by listening to people, watching the way their body language is, watching the way their eyes are fluttered, watching the way their body movement is, listening to their voice on a phone, understanding that when you talk to somebody about something, you got to put a picture in their mind that's good for them, not for you, that fits what they're looking for, not what you're looking for. And that's where all the opportunities have popped up for me. And the philosophy of Ajanoi and the actual processes and procedures, that's the dorky engineer part, that follow along with it, that I'm much better under what they call pressure than practice. That's one of the things I learned about the podcast show. I could practice all I wanted, but when it came to doing the show, it didn't work. Now, maybe somebody does, but I found it that I had maybe a couple notes to remind me to say this or that or whatever.
Right.
But in general, I just went out and did it. And I started, because I'd ask, my first question is, what was the serendipity? What was the accident? What was the coincidence? Because Doug was on my show. I said, what were those three things? What guided you to where you're at now? Kind of like what Doug's asking me. Where did you come from?
Mm-hmm.
So the communication skill is huge. Learning how to do a Zoom call like this is huge because I'm meeting some very powerful people right now in what the stuff that I'm doing. And I'm like, learning how to make sure your arms are not crossed or all these different things, and the voice, the way your voice context is, all these things. Communication is super important. The gift is the gift. And if it is the gift that your communication, but the other side, you got to work at it, then you work at that. There's always something that, and trust me, I hate doing monthly bills and all this. My wife's an actuary, so she gave me set me up a spreadsheet. She knows I can't stand this stuff, but you're not going to who likes everything they do? That's impossible. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to continue talking about Ajanoi because I think it's really interesting. So Ajanoi, it could be a corporate training program. It could be a communication style. It could be a way to parent. There are so many opportunities in there. Where have you found, or where are you finding your most predictable path so that you could help other people get on the journey of understanding what their purpose is in life?
Getting out of the repetitive behavior belief system mind, the auto necessities mind, the one that's activated by what you see, hear, touch, smell, and see. All that activation, we spend our lives doing the same thing over and over again, combing our hair. Well, those of us that have hair, combing our hair, brushing our teeth, or I say wiping our tushies, blowing our nose. Everything is automation. And we are so comfortable being uncomfortable in something we're familiar with. And it's not a bad thing. If it works for you, great. It didn't work for me, and it's never worked for me. So an entrepreneur has to open that idea up that if you want to be a little more uncomfortable, you got to sit and I call it prayer and meditation. You've got to be in silence. You've got to see what you want to see. You can't see moving forward or being here now with the pre-existing thing of, oh, you can't do this. You don't have enough money. You're too old. You're bald. You're too this. You're too that. Because it's going to lead you, and you're going to fail.
So how have you not, and maybe you have, but I'm just thinking of opportunity here. Again, there's that word.
Yep.
How have you not introduced this to a corporate, like in a executive coaching environment where you're taking these top performing leaders, but leaders that have been doing it a long time and just are getting stuck? Or all leadership always looks to executive coaching to elevate where they are, not just professionally, but personally as well. Because I think the closer you are to knowing who you are as a person, the better you are as a leader. So just chat about that for a second. And has that been an avenue that you've explored? Is that something that you're not interested in exploring? Too difficult? Too easy? What is it?
So what I've learned is when you try to force something, it doesn't work. And I was trying to look. It was an honest thing. I did it for 2 years with Doug, and it just wasn't working. And then I found out why. And why wasn't working is because it wasn't the right time. I've got to be able to, what my business is now, experience this for people to go, whoa, that's unbelievable. You're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. How did you get there? Then I talk about it. Then I can express it. Then going, really? That's how you did it? It's like, yeah, I can tell you. Are you interested in me talking? I'm not going to say that, but they're going to say, tell me more about it. Because when I talk to a few people that I'm working with right now, these producers and stuff, they're like, I never heard anything like this because I really got into it. They told me, said, tell us everything. I'm like, all right, you asked for it. And when they heard it, I mean, imagination and all this. Now, again, this is not like I have all the answers. I view this Ajanoi as a template. It is something that I give people, and then you do whatever you want with it. You don't want to use it, don't use it. If you want to call it potato salad, call it potato salad. But it didn't work because it wasn't ready to work. It had to go in a different place to be able to get it out there in a different venue for people to come back and go, how did you do this? I want to talk to you. How did you get this out there?
What's the venue? You mentioned a couple of things that my audience may not be familiar with. I, of course, have been following your journey since day one of doing this, at least in the last several years of doing this. And you mentioned producers. So I always think, okay, is this TV? Is this film? Is this radio? Is there something else that's being produced? And then like what's the journey look like when you do find opportunity in there to kind of progress with your journey? What so first of all, what's the producer involved? Why? And secondly, what's the journey look like once you find this producer to help you?
Well, I am a producer now, and I'm working with other producers. And I just signed two big contracts with two writers that people might not have heard of, Chuck Dixon and James Elroy. You can look them up. Um, and I bought some of their books, and I'm going to work with getting them made into movies. And I have three short stories, one called Ajanoi, another one called Juventus, and another one called Itinerary of a Soul. And those short stories, I have now all screenplay writers on all these movie projects. And some people are working with some other people I'm not supposed to talk about right now, but they're making some big agreements that everybody would know about. I can talk about Chuck Dixon and James Elroy because I just signed contracts with them. But this took me from one place all the way to this top level.
Right.
And the reason is all happened because of one reason, Ajanoi. Because I imagined having this happen to me. I didn't know I was going to be a producer. I didn't know I even can write short stories.
Right.
So three of these things are from my short stories. And then meeting these other people, and one person was saying, well, I was just having lunch with this director and this actor. I'm like, and you mentioned my name? What?
Well, isn't this part of the whole law of attraction kind of thing? If you think it
is.
You know, think and grow rich. Isn't that old philosophy?
100%. And I mean, what I do with Ajanoi is nothing new. It's a little twisting a little bit and a little bit off a little bit, but it's basically, it is that way. It is what you imagine, what you talk about, what you think about, what you do constantly. And I practice here in my recording studio because I play all this music and stuff. So
yeah, Nice Guy community. I know nobody's watching this on video except for the two people that probably have subscribed to the channel, but that is not an AI background that's behind Phillip. That is actually his home studio that has a large drum set, three guitars, a keyboard. I think is right under him. All of the other things that are right there.
I just bought a baby grand digital piano, so I'm really thrilled about that because I entered the actual 90s and got rid of the old junk. But imagining it, I sit here and I know. I described this to the person I just did a meditation class to. I went through this. I told him exactly going to LA, meeting this director and these actors that everybody would know that I'm not going to talk about, but I'm like there. And I'm not doing this to ingratiate saying I'm so wonderful. I don't really care. I just think it's exciting. And I'm like, I know what the flower pots look like. I know what the breakfast place looks like. I know what the canopy looks like. I know what my glass of tea, my glass of Rishi organic Earl Grey tea looks like. I know them coming in. I know them talking to me. I know them asking about Ajanoi. I know them saying, well, we want to do this stuff with James Elroy, but we're really interested in this too. And I've gone through this over and over and over.
Phillip is very good on vision boarding, by the way.
Oh yeah, the vision boarding's in my mind too. That's the weird part.
Right.
But I do this. I don't do the vision board really is in my mind.
Yeah.
I try to do the physical. It doesn't work for me. And all this stuff has come true. Does it look like anything I practice? No, it's better.
No, but isn't that the reality of how life works? If you have, for those in our community that continue to, you know, what's the expression? If a stranger talked to you the way that you talk to you, you'd walk around with two black eyes your entire life. It's like, you know, we have we have a propensity for negative self-talk. That's what most people walk around with. And I always feel like, and I've always been this way, even as a little kid, you know, I started working at 13 at a ski shop and, you know, unpacking the boxes and like seeing this pile of boxes and just imagining that it was a bunch of snow and I was actually unloading the skis for the snow that's right here. And it's like, if you can think it, you can do it. And, you know, Henry Ford's expression of whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And I mean, the reality of it is that's what we deal with. I mean, that's what we deal with every day. And if you just somehow, oh, but Doug, how do you maintain a positive attitude when you can't pay your bills? Well, there's got to be something in there. There's got to be something that you could be positive about, the silver lining in the cloud that's there in front of you right now. Well, how do I maintain a positive attitude when I'm in negative health? I mean, it's there too. Imagine that your stinking thinking put you in a position to be sick. Well, how does being a negative thinker cause cancer? Well, you'd be very surprised about some of the things that happen in people's lives because they just aren't thinking positively. That doesn't mean to go around with the isn't this great? Isn't this great? Well, no, you don't have to do that. But if you're going through shit and you keep going through the shit, you just keep diving in and saying, "Why are you so happy?" Because somewhere in here, there's got to be a pony.
Right.
Like, it happens. So just think about it positively that way. Sorry, I didn't mean to get off track there, but I always get aligned with the world that thinks that you don't have any control over what's going to happen in your life, and I'm like, no, you have complete control over what happens. And anyway, control is a complete illusion anyway. If any of us think that we're in control, you just have
control
to
a jack.
Right.
Nothing.
You just have to respond positively to the environmental conditions that are circling around you at all times, whether it's a great president or a shitty president. It doesn't matter because you have got to make your own bed. You can't follow, oh, well, the stock market sucks, so I'm going to be negative. Well, okay, well, maybe put your
Good
money
luck.
somewhere. You're right. Yeah. Good luck trying to control that.
Yeah.
So,
Control
anyway,
anything. No,
right.
no. You did not go off in another direction. You hit it. There's what's her name? Pema Chodron. I found a book for, and she talks about something. It's Tibetan. It's called Shenpa. 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 And it's a fancy word for the crap.
Okay.
And how you just stay negative. And how does it cause cancer? Is that 100%? Oh, does it cause cancer? There's nothing 100%.
Right.
You know what's 100%? What do they say? Death and taxes, and then you got to pay taxes after you're dead. So the whole thing is keeping a positive attitude, but the shit's always going to happen.
Yeah.
You don't, like you said, you don't like the president. You don't like your best friend screwed you over. Your manager's an asshole. You got a great manager and he left. I was in a company one time and I learned you don't go to a company because of the manager, because a month later he left and the whole company fell apart.
Right.
But there's some kind of shit. Oh, the car's broken. The dishwasher broke. I own this stock and the stock went south and I just lost $20,000. Well, if you think there's a way to get rid of it, you can be like Lao Tzu and the Tao Te Ching and take your donkey and go to the mountains and sleep in a mountain somewhere and never be seen again. But you did not get off track. There is so much we're responsible for. And it's the simple fact of, are they the rampant thoughts you are thinking, or are they your thinking thoughts? Your thinking thoughts is a blank slate. The thoughts you're thinking is already pre-designed. Well, I got to do this because Doug did it this way. And if Doug did it this way and it worked for him, I'm going to do it. And then you try and it doesn't work. Well, because it wasn't your way.
Right.
I learned little things from everybody. That's why I read so much. That's why I communicate to people all the time. Is you keep learning things. This morning I was like, I didn't feel 100%, so I said, I'm gonna lay down, and we went to exercise, and I said, I'm gonna do so. I call PNM, prayer and meditation, and I went. I don't time it or anything, and I just went later, and I felt refreshed.
Mm-hmm.
This is how I do it.
Right.
Some people do other things that they do. You need to be clear to understand that the road is not going to be straight. It's going to be full of angles and curves, and the mind doesn't like angles and curves. It likes being straight.
Engineer.
And that's because we're trained in, if it's not going that way, all hell's breaking loose. Well, then you know what? You're never going to grow, and you're always going to be miserable. Something's going to go wrong. The next day, something's going to happen. And if you're comfortable with who you are and your inner self, your Ajanoi, your soul knowledge, whatever you want to call it, your gut feeling, when the shit hits the fan, not like in the airplane movie, but when the shit hits the fan, when the shit hits the fan, you're going to be ready to go.
Jive also?
Jive?
That's from the movie.
Excuse me, stewardess. I speak jive.
Shit. Hey, all those instruments behind you, what have you been working on musically recently?
I'm sorry, say again?
All those instruments behind you, what have you
well, because I got the new piano, I've been, and because it's not the digital floppies that I used to have. I've just been working on a lot of movie music because I've been asked with the two of my particular movies to start thinking about soundtracks. So I'm listening to other things and I'm just sitting down and playing and then recording different types of soundtracks, looking in my mind of what the movie's going to be like and just letting the mind and the spirits and angels guide me, and then I record whatever I need to. But I haven't been recording full production songs for about a year or two, like with the drums and the bass and the guitars, because it's not the place for me to do that right now. So I've been working on that a lot, taking what I see in my mind, especially with the screenwriters that I'm working with, and we get through reading these screenplays, and it's like, oh, and it's like, wow, I never thought of it that way. So it's really kind of energizing me to create, because to me, music is a character. And music is not just when it's dramatic. You can have music while there's nothing going on. It's a background, but it's also something that you can put in between when people are talking. It can be a character, and I've written a whole language. I have a Sanskrit. It's a fancy word for a language for Ajanoi. I have an audio, like in sounds for a piano of every letter. I have the actual written letters. I have a number system. I have all sorts of stuff I'm creating in the Ajanoi world. I have something called Aka Aja and Ru Aja, which is the negative energy, and all these different things physically to do. It's kind of like Tai Chi. So I'm working on a lot of stuff.
So let's say that on a Saturday night, any Saturday night in the Chicago area, you end up finding yourself at a party with your wife, and you walk through the front door, and they say, "Phillip, we are so glad you're here. We have a guitar, but we don't have a guitar player. Could you impress us?" Now, would you accept that challenge if you walked into somebody's house?
Yes, because
Okay.
it was meant to be.
Great. That guitar that's right behind you? I can't tell if it's a Martin or if it's a Taylor, or what is that microphone? That guitar.
Breedlove.
Could you pick up that guitar?
Yeah, but I'd rather do my 6-string.
Okay, great. Pick up the. That's good. All right. So Phillip is going to grab a guitar. We have not prepared this at all. I have no idea what's about that. No, it's not tuned. So to a guitar player, that's just a challenge. That's a statement. It's not actually something that. All right, hold on. He's gonna do
just a second. I don't know how this is gonna sound on this thing.
You sound good.
And I'm not gonna sing because I hate singing.
No worries.
Oh, it's out of tune.
Well, okay. You don't have a tuner that's right there?
Yeah, I got my tuner.
Oh my gosh. It's like I'm asking the guy, I'm asking him to become a dentist and pull teeth at the same time. It's hold on. He's gonna put his tuner on the guitar.
Jeez,
So
I'm
just
under pressure.
for those in our nice guy community, while Phillip is tuning his guitar, I'll explain why I'm doing this to Phillip at this particular time. I said to him when he had his podcast, I said, "Well, you have all these musical instruments that are near you. Why aren't you using them during your podcast?" "Oh, it's a great idea," he said to me. I said, No, you don't hear what I'm saying. Use your guitar and your musical instruments to add emphasis to different things that are going on in your podcast episode and impress your guest. If there's nothing more than you do on a podcast, because we do have a guest to client, guest to referral type of strategy, it's like all you're trying to do is build a relationship with this guest. And if you can impress a guest, then you can actually get somewhere with your podcast. So that being said, I don't know that he ever played his instrument on his podcast. Don't know.
Did.
You did. He did one time.
I did before the record button went on. I did listen to Doug, and people. The face on the other end of the screen was like, he's playing an instrument. So I'm still tuning. This thing's really out of tune.
That's all right. We know how to wait. We can wait very patiently. That D does not sound good. D.
Yeah, this is helping. I got my snark. It's called a snark.
I don't know what a snark is.
Oh, but it's bad. What the heck?
He's working it hard right now.
Quiet. Ah, here. Wow, this is really out of tune.
It's been a long time since he's played this instrument, apparently.
I haven't played it for like 3 weeks.
You must have a lot of humidity where you live.
It's Illinois.
So there's a lot of humidity where he lives.
It's a lot of humidity.
There you go.
Sorry, audience, it took a while.
Nice Guy community was very forgiving. Every time I go, I say, I'm right here and I'm gonna play. I'm here with Phillip and we're singing songs. Love my audience, it's clear. Love my audience, that's clear.
So
Sounds like it's straight from Broadway.
Oh, look at this thing saying set up professional audio. I'm not setting up anything.
Yeah, we don't have to do that.
Excuse me. Let's see what else here.
So Phillip was going to go out for Darius Rucker's position at Hootie and the Blowfish, but he decided that he's going to stay in Illinois as opposed to going to South Carolina or wherever Darius lives.
You know what? It's funny because I have a lot of recorded music. I threw out some goofy album I did like in 2017, and I sold like 500 albums, and I made I think about 35 cents.
Nice,
but. And I sang and stuff, and but that's not my chosen thing. It's a lot of work to sing, and I chose just to. I'm done now. I have written and produced and sang a 90-minute musical I've created called Ajanoi Musical Philosophy. It's completely done in the studio.
Totally on brand. Totally on brand. Also, that's perfect.
It's what?
Totally on brand. Also,
it is totally. And when I was working with the producers that I'm working with now, I sent them the whole 90-minute musical. I have it all written up. I have the staging. I have everything done. Every character, everything that's done. They said it's wonderful, but it costs too much money to make a musical.
Understood.
So they said just put it on its side and let it sit there. So I've got several hundred songs. I've probably got at least 100 to maybe 120 or so songs that are completely recorded, all the instruments done. Some of them I did some singing on and I harmonized with myself. I don't do anything digital. On the musical, of course, there's some instruments, of course, I don't play violin, but I played everything else on there. So that kind of got the door open for me when people heard this and said, wow, this is unbelievable. You do that. And then it just kept leading and leading and leading. Now the music's kind of sitting in the background, waiting to get the movies done. And two of the things that are going on with the James Ellroy stuff and the Chuck Dixon. Do you like Jason Statham?
What would I know Jason in?
Transporter movies.
Transporter?
Remember the karate guy, transporter dude? No.
Okay,
you might have heard of it. He does a lot of the what was it, Walking Man or something that was out last year. Anyway, Chuck Dixon wrote that particular book, and he sold it to being made in this movie. So I'm dealing with some big players right now, but it's just a matter of fact of being patient, learning, listening, vermacht them oil, shutting the hell up. And I understand that there's a lot of things. I write short stories, which I didn't know I did. I write a lot of music, and now I'm a producer with the movie stuff, and my teaching classes and meditation classes. But I'm just waiting for the different opportunities to appear
They will.
to guide me.
They will.
That's all. That's all
They
I can
will.
do.
They will do that, and maybe today there'd be some sort of opportunity for those that are in our audience. If you've heard anything that resonates with you, and you think that you have opportunity for Phillip, maybe it's a good chance for you to reach out. Where would people find out what you do, how you do what you do? You have a website, you have a LinkedIn, you have an anything. What do you got?
Well, it's all I got is LinkedIn still, and then everything else I'm not there anymore. But lightpipe.media.
Got it.
Lightpipe.media is my website. You can go on there, and you can see the people I'm working with and the big stuff with Elroy and all that stuff, and my own short stories and my background and the other producers I'm working. One of the producers actually won an Academy Award for the movie Monster in the 90s. His name is Clark
Nice.
Peterson. So hey, Doug, ask me, how long did it take to get here?
How long did it take to get here?
Funny that you should ask that question. 11 years. And when people say that you're an overnight sensation, even if you're successful at 25 years old, you had to be 24 years of getting there.
Yeah.
Nobody is born into this. I mean, you can be, but it still takes a long time. And it's worthwhile because I don't really care. The fame thing is not important for me. I'm looking for fun. I'm looking to make a difference. I'm looking to share the movies and the stuff and the short stories and the Ajanoi and the philosophy and the meditation stuff. And I want to make a difference in the world. I want to do something that can change and not just change, but transform people's lives. And if I can do that a little bit with one person, which you probably will never know about, then I think it's all worthwhile.
All right. Can you give us 30 seconds and play us out of here?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Nice Guy community. Never underestimate the power of nice. Again, special thanks to Phillip Bogolub. All of his information, including access to his website, right there in the show notes. Steve O'Brien, take us out of here.
For the Nice Guys on Business, I'm Steve O'Brien. And may the force be with them. They need all the help they can get.